Okay, so I haven't done my afternoon or evening nap or anything. See, I'm telling you, like, I don't know. I don't want to tell people you don't need sleep, you don't need food, but I don't know. I'm rethinking a lot of things. Um, and my hair is, I'm pretty sure today was the second day. I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at the footage. But I think I am really lost in days and time. Mine's so chopped up too. Um, but I think I don't know. But anyways, it was just so saturated with the stuff. I had to put some dry shampoo in, but you can still see uh, like in here, it just gets really heavy. So I was brushing it because you got to get, those boar bristle brush, boar bristle. So, and then you got to brush it and brush it and brush it, and it moves the oily stuff, the waxy coating, whatever. It moves it all over your whole hair, and that's what I keep thinking. That must be why my hair is doing this. It's sensing something. It doesn't like something. So I'm gonna switch. I've got a couple of recommendations on some other shampoos of that I don't know more. They're all like, I mean, you just gotta find something that works, really, and with there's the least amount of chemicals as you want. Like I'm trying to find it with all just natural, like organic, regular stuff, without a bunch of shampoos and strippers or whatever, soaps and strippers and stuff, and a lot of chemicals. Just kind of, it's got to clean it some because this coating stuff. But there's got to be some sweet spot. Like, there's got to be. I just haven't found it. So my hair keeps telling me, I don't like that. I don't like that. So, because I would think for it to saturate it like that, it's because it's sensing this is too dry. And so it's trying to lubricate it, the part that's dry, because it's always protecting itself. So weird when somebody told me the other day, hair's dead. I was like, well, it's awfully alive to me. Oh my God. Man, I don't, I'm kind of tripping out lately. Like how weird it is. You know, like really when you think about it, when people make fun of you, when you say stuff about like, well, my soul says, and well, that's what my inner self says, my soul tells me to do. You say that kind of stuff, and people think you're so weird and laugh at you and think you're so crazy and just don't even acknowledge it. That to me just really shows how cut off everybody is from their own internal guidance, and it's really trippy. Like there's some really trippy stuff about this whole situation, this whole thing happening. And boy, I'm telling you, this copper thing and the not aging, boy, that's catching on. Like everybody wants to talk about that, I'll tell you. And for some reason, TikTok's letting them talk to me, which is strange, which it's like, I don't know. I don't know if TikTok's trying to manipulate me to get me to be like, oh, look at all my videos. I could be getting paid right now. Jump on to the, fund. I'm not doing it. Sorry, TikTok. You don't have a sucker here. No, I'll keep taking this little flow, though, and spreading the information because it's catching fire, man. And I am really caught fire. I am just jazzed up like a motherfucker. I got my appointment. I already paid the deposit. I'm so excited. So it's the 13th, and it's a doctor in Seattle. And so they said, yeah, they'll do it, but they have to have the consultation and see me. And, like they have to, I'm sure they can't say, well, for sure, and then go in, and then you have like, what are those things called? Some people, they get encapsulated, and they get like, you can't move them. And so probably that is when they have to do something about that capsule. That's like your body is like in full on rejection, I think. And so anyways, I don't think they're gonna like, I don't have that. I've instead mine's like trying to leave, go out the side. It's gonna end up on my back or something. So anyways, super excited. I was like, and I had to do it kind of based on the time, because it was when the time was available, because they wanted me to come on the 6th. And so the way that things are working, I'm just like, oh my gosh, if I go in and they say, I'm just hoping everything lines up. That's all I'm hoping for. And I'm just super excited. And I feel like it's just like, oh, I can taste it. It's so close. I feel like it's like, oh, finally I have a place that has said, yeah, they'll do that. And it's only 2 hours away. And I don't know the price yet, but I've already paid my deposit. So I'm on the move. And see, when you're manifesting, that's the thing, is like manifesting stuff like that. But see, you were always going to manifest what you were going to manifest. It's always on the roster. Whatever is coming to you is always on the roster. It is because it's you. It's you doing it. It's your lessons. It's your whole thing. It's just you don't realize the part you play. It's so trippy because people manifest all the time. Every day they're manifesting. And I just think they just don't realize it. It is like, every time like you go in a bad relationship and you're like, oh, I can't stand that characteristic. No, none of that. You are narrowing it down all the time. You're focusing in. So you are on one hand manifesting what you want. And so you are creating what it is you're looking for. So it's just people just don't realize like how it all works. And then they keep trying to like skip parts and jump ahead. And then plus there's so much about this what it is they're searching for, what it is they're chasing, what it is they're trying to gain. That's what people will see for themselves. It's like the universe will show you. You'll see it for yourself. It's not for anybody else to figure out. You'll see. You'll decide. Like, what you can't hide from that truth. You can't hide from that part of yourself. You'll always know your true intention, what you're really trying to get out of something. And that is what people are going to see. People are going to see their truth. People are going to see really what they're made of. And, but there was a couple other things. Oh, I want to show you this. I've been working on this. And I finished the blanket yesterday. I think I finished it yesterday and got in the package. So, or sometime this weekend, because I guess it was the weekend. Anyways, I went to the post office and sent that. So I finished that one. And then this one. So this is the third one. And I feel like they're all, but this is the color scheme that I was talking about, that I kept seeing those colors sitting there next to each other. I was like, oh my God, I got to make something with those colors. And so it's like a tube top. And then this is a whole thing too. It's like I totally get the happy accidents thing. Because sometimes the things I started to make this shirt at first and I was going to make it real loose. But I kept wanting it to be more striped like that. So I was making it, I was like, that doesn't have the stripe thing. I like the loose kind of thing, but I like the more closed stripe. And so I was like, I'll just stop and start over. And I'll just leave that. I'm sure there'll be something I can do with it later. And so then when I had made it, I put it on and I was like, oh, I really like it. It is, well, we'll see how it fits like in a couple of weeks. But right now, like it's super tight. So, because the yarn holds, like, I mean, this is like the size, and so it will stretch a little bit. Anyways, I don't know. It kind of is cool how it fits too. But so it's like a tube top, and then so I was going to put like a little strap thing. So I was looking at this thing and I was trying to figure out how I could do that. And I was trying it and I was trying some different things. And then, I was like, I think I'm just going to put it across the bottom, and it fit like super perfect. And then I really liked it. And I was like, oh, that gives it like a cute style too. But anyways, I finished that one. So I made 3 of those. I think I'm going to start painting though for my daughter's bedroom. And then the next halter one I think I'm going to try and do is one of those, like, it's real delicate. And so it's much smaller. That stuff is so much harder too because I can't see good on this, doing things like that. So anyways, let me think, because I was so excited about this appointment that I have. And when I talked to the office place, and it was even weird how that even went down, because I hadn't heard from anybody on my my things I had sent out, the referrals from the doctor's office, and so I hadn't heard from any of these other offices. And so it had just been on my mind. And I was thinking, I should think about even Yakima, where my daughters live, because I could always go down there. That's not that far. If I'm going to be going all the way to Spokane, that was 6 hours to go to that appointment. So Yakima would be 3 hours. Seattle's 2. That's when I got it. And, well, I guess Yakima's kind of 3.5 hours. And so when I was looking up the doctors, I'd seen some other ones. And so I called one and I asked them, and they were like, hell to the no. We're not doing that. They do general anesthesia. And it's so absurd too. And like, that'd be another plea of mine also, is like, I've got a brain injury. I do not want those chemicals going into my mind. I've got enough to deal with. I'm like, no thanks. That, I would feel like it would just be a setback. And so, anyways, what was I going to say? So, oh yeah. So when I had called that one, then I thought, and then they were like, I was like, well, I'm just going to call another one. There's just like a whole list of them here. So I'm going to call another one. And it kind of refreshed itself. And another one popped up at the bottom that I had not seen at all before in the whole list. And it caught my eye. And so I was like, okay, well, I'll call that one. And the guy was really nice on the phone. And he said, because I asked him right off the bat if they will do explant surgery as a foreign body removal and just do local anesthesia, local anesthesia, whatever, just a shot. And he said, well, let me go check. And so he went and asked, and then he came back and he said he went and talked to the surgeon, the surgical nurses, and that they said, yeah, they would do that, except they just gotta, see him ahead of time and have him come in and check and make sure it can be done. And so that's what my appointment on 13th. I'm just hoping that it is, if it can be done, that they just do it right then. Because it literally is like a 10 or 15 minute thing. And well, I guess it would take the time for the lidocaine to work, which that's like 15 minutes or something. But when the surgeon's actually working on you. So for me, it would probably be like, I don't know, 45 minutes or something. For the surgeon, it's like 15 minutes. It's like a little slice. You pull the little thing. It has a little hose that you can empty it, as how they fill it. So it has a little hose, but you don't even have to get close to the hose. You could just stick some other, like a straw in it, like a Capri Sun or something. Stick a thing in there and then just drain it. It would only take a couple seconds. And then once the fluid's drained, then you just take the forceps and you just pull it through the whole thing, and then sew it up, and then do the other side. It's like so quick. But then I feel like the bandaging, but I think the nurse would do that. But the bandaging, that's where I want it set and taped, because immediately scar tissue will start forming, and you got to use your mind too. So, anyways, we'll see how it goes. Like, we'll see how it looks. I mean, it could end up like grandma off a Mad magazine. I don't know. But anyways, it's still gonna feel better. Like, I gotta just not worry about what it looks like. Like, I grew up on National Geographic, so those were real boobs and they were all hanging, so I'm not gonna worry about it. I'll just be glad to not have this plastic in there. Especially this one is really driving me crazy. I was just like all my clothes keep pulling over. It's like, oh, what the hell? So sometimes you might even notice like this neck thing. It's like that's what I keep noticing is my neckline keeps being pulling to the side. It's like, what the hell is going on? And that's when I figured it out. So anyways, but I don't know. Today has been kind of weird. I don't really have any idea. I know I spent time doing the phone. Because I thought all I had to do was take the money to the appointment, but no, you have to pay to get the appointment. And so I had cash. So, in my bank is 6 hours away. And so I took money over to the neighbor. Luckily, she wanted some cash. So I gave her cash, and then I had to have money transferred. So that took, anyways, doing the appointment did take some time. And I did talk to him and ask a bunch of questions and stuff. And it's down at, what is it called? No, Capitol Hill. Is that what it's called? It's a certain area, and I had seen new stuff about that lately. So I don't even know. I'm driving into, fucking could be driving into Armageddon. But anyways, we'll see. You just gotta go with the flow. I mean, I could just sit here and just wait and wait and wait, but like it's already been a couple years. Now, once that came across my thing that they'll do that explant with local anesthesia, that's just like fuck. I just want to go get that done then. And but it just is like how this stuff is just dragging and dragging. It's like fuck. I mean, what if it is the med beds? It's like a few years away. I feel like everything is way closer. I feel like everything is falling apart so hard. Like that Rothschild or Rockefeller or whoever that old fucker died, and them making a thing about it and stuff. And I swear to God, all those people are not like 100 years old. They are 1,000 years old. No fucking way are they 100 years. Maybe that fucking body, that fucking relic of a body, because it was fucking wretched, man. That guy looked like he was fucking 1,000 years old. All those fucking old fuckers. I don't know if they just let them sit over to the side and didn't give them their blood or something to make them so when they took pictures that we would see like, ooh, like a vampire Nosferatu or something. So, anyways, there's like so many. Like, there's even this Dutch king and queen or something that euthanasia holding hands. It's like, I don't know about all this with the euthanasia. Maybe there's a squad out there euthanasia. Like, I don't know. I don't know. It was like people are going down. They're going down like all right and left, man. And it's bringing up so much stuff in people on the things that are going on. So you can see how the awakening works when you watch how the people are reacting and how things are shifting so fast and how it's to get people to wake up. It's to get people. But the thing is people like lock in on these bad attitudes and division and calling people names, and it's like, okay, well, just you gotta face yourself, and it's like I can't stop it. I can't stop people from doing what they're supposed to do. They're all on their own flight plans. It's just, I don't know. It's a weird position to be in because you're kind of as the observer, but it's also as this, because it's not just for observation. It's for change. It's for us to recognize. Like, I think that we all need to be deeper thinkers. We all need to look at things more deeper. And so, and it isn't, I mean, and that's something I faced always for so long. Too deep for people. You're just way too deep. You're too heavy. And it's too intense, man. It's like, what the fuck? Like, what? We just don't talk about the weather? Is that like more your level? What? But that is like a lot of people. They just can't. And I don't know. Like, I can't say what it is. Because I would say they just can't handle it. But I have no idea. Like, I don't even know if their perception perceives it. Like, I don't know where everybody's coming from. It's like mind boggling. And it's wild. But this is really going to be wild to watch this play out. You know, because right now we're seeing this, like this shuffling. And it's this, it's a whole redistribution of energy. But like, it's this shuffling around. And I saw this person, and they were making a good point, and they were more of the same attitude as me of the border thing, you know, like, well, their thing was like, it's not our business. Like, this isn't our business. They're trying to drag you guys into stuff to keep you distracted, to keep you drawn into their bullshit, and that is what they're doing. And then they get people on their sides, divided, ready to take arms, man. They're going to create their civil war because there's so many people who are trigger happy. They're just dying to get out there and fight with somebody. People are so fucking freaked and outraged over this soldier, this martyr. Because, I mean, what else? Like, if you look at it from a soul's perspective, like, I don't get how all these people look at life. Like, they all just think things are just happen, maybe. Like, I don't understand how. But to me, it's just, you know, because you don't understand spiritual, the the world on a spiritual level, and you're in a spiritual place. So you need to probably understand it on a spiritual level. But people don't. But they assume or consume or just they just think that things are the way that they are, the way they think they are. But things are different than how people think they are. Even these religious people think that, like, that they get it. It's like, but it's way different than what you think. It's way, like, you don't hear very many people who really get it, who really understand, you know, about the universe and about energy. And I don't know, it's just more of a focus on flesh and blood and stuff, you know. And you got to get more into the focus of a hologram, you know, that you're just the energy. You're the energy that is the radiation behind the image. It's like you're you're the one who brings the image to life. So the image is you, and you're the image, but the image is separate than you, and it doesn't have its own identity. But it does on a different level, because you're only as an identity of this being when you're in that life. Except for, don't forget, we're in this ascension, so you stay this being. So I'm talking about in the reincarnation kind of way. But everything, see, like, there's so many different levels. That's why it's like, it's so it's like complex, complicated, because you talk about one thing and then, but it's like all these different things. Like, everything is like shifting, and people's awareness. And then people are going to start feeling inside themselves. They're going to start feeling dirty and exposed and stuff. Maybe it's like the energy catches up with them, is then they start realizing that people can see through them. Because that is one thing so many people they don't realize, like, that people can see through them. And it's weird. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It just seems like so many people just doing things that I don't know, is it moral? Like, but that is, everybody's got to figure, this is setting your moral compass. So you can't get caught up in what other people think is moral or what other people think you should do, you know. So it's on a totally different level to even be talking about it, because the talking about it is to bring awareness to it, to bring each person's awareness to different things, so that we make a shift, so that we have, because we have to have the awareness to make the shift. We have to be able to look at it, so we have to draw our attention. And it's just, like a sad state of affairs of where we have allowed ourselves to become. That's just a part of what we have to face. How dark our society, how dark it got. And I think it's going to be a part of it. I think is all their attempts to cut people off from their soul. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. They use the chemicals, the frequency, the mind manipulation, there's a lot. And so, the people who are cut off, I think, there's a majority of people are cut off from their soul. This is like this reconnecting them. This is why the energy's shifting and reconnecting them back to themselves. And, they've been kind of essentially a puppet to a system, because they didn't have self-identity. They just played like a part. When you have an awareness, then you have an awareness that you're a part. Like, so many things change and shift. Like, when you have your awareness, like, see, then you are in manifesting, because then you're directing your energy towards what you want, because you're always manifesting. You're just not always manifesting what you want. Well, in a kind of a roundabout way, because, like on a person, say, like a boyfriend or something, and then you go through different guys, or, a girl going through, or whatever, you know what I'm saying? A relationship kind of thing. And you go with all these people, because all these people are there to teach you. So all these people, they all have issues. You have issues. We all have issues. And so you're in these relationships, and those, you always leave those relationships and like, oh my God, I can't stand that. I don't want to be with somebody who does that. There's always something out from about that person. It's like you just close in off of, like, oh, that's just something I just don't want. And so we do that. We start taking parts that we don't want. Well, I definitely don't want that. Well, I prefer this. Well, I really don't want that. Well, I really like this. So it really gets us to really narrow in on what it is we want. So it is kind of like you are always manifesting your future partner, in a sense. And, it always remains to be seen, I guess, if it's what the relationship, what you can make it into, because it is all about us evolving, becoming, more and more better at dealing with ourselves, not being our own worst nightmare, our own worst enemy and stuff, being able to manage relationships and have, and so much of it has to do with, like us taking responsibility for ourselves, not putting expectation on other people, and being able to meet our own needs, not think somebody else needs to meet our needs to prove that they love us. And then, this equality, where there's balance. So many relationships are developed around an imbalance or a heavy shift back and forth. It's just that there's a lot of toxicity, but all those things are all there to teach you. Once you go into the mind of wanting to learn, wanting to see, then you look at it and you can see, oh, all of that taught me. I like, you'll see your development throughout. And so that has significance in the development of self, into you becoming you, you know. I have been having a sore throat, and I just always think it's the chemicals and stuff. And what was that? I had on some. Oh yeah, because this was dark. Oh yeah. Hold on just a second. Because I had on some old movie. Seems like it was like Richard Crenna. Who was that? Oh yeah, because the lady was Kate Capshaw. So I kept looking at her and thinking, man, do you eat babies? Like, do you know what your husband does? Like, fuck, man. I don't know. Some of these ladies and the people they're with, like Rita Wilson, like, what did you know about Tom? Did you just turn a blind eye? Or are you part of it? Same with this Kate Capshaw, you know? You just, I mean, Steven Spielberg I don't know. So, anyways, I kept thinking about that. But, and it was Richard Crenna, I think. I'm pretty sure. Sometimes I'll just have the movies just going and I'll be crocheting. But pretty sure he was a detective. And he was looking for this. Oh, yeah, because there was a murder. And this was older. This is, I don't know. I mean, it was like, maybe it was the 70s or 80s or something. I don't know. It could have been in the 90s. I don't know. But the movie was supposed to be about like right after Vietnam, it seems. I don't know how soon after, but not like 40 years after. So it was so it was talking a lot about that, and about what went on there, and what it was the dark thing is so, and I know this is true because they even had this when they were doing what was that one called, the Middle East war that they started, something. There's a whole bunch of guys that went to that, and they all got poisoned too and got fucked up. Desert Storm, I think they called that one. But let me think what I was going to say. Oh, yeah. Okay, so the guy who, it was too complicated to try and tell who all these characters were. But the thing that they were showing was that the torture that they would do on the soldiers. So they would just torture them, and then they would just discard them. But that was something that happened that was so bad over there, that they dehumanized these people, especially because these people are like, I'm pretty sure they're a lot tinier. They're pretty tiny people, and they're, I don't know, they seem kind of harmless or something. But they are different looking, and it's all the people who were, these American soldiers who went over, and they ate different, lived different. And this is always the problem with people, is the differences. Differences freak people out. They don't know how to handle them. It's like, that's why you got to be more like open to different cultures. Not like trying to tell them how to be or whatever, just open to learning, not trying to control them. And besides, everything is a spiritual thing anyways. Like, they're all these different things, they're all learning their own stuff. It's not for you to walk in and start saying, well, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do this, in order to, because there's a lot of division over certain religions and stuff, you know what I'm saying? And certain people think that they know what's best, and the other people are all completely wrong. And a lot of the stuff that they, like, there's just difference in cultures. There's difference in way that what people are there to learn, the different realities, you know. But But so that I know that there was a lot of really horrible stuff. It brought out like a really, really dark side in people. The guys who went over there, and there was a lot of drugs and stuff, and then probably was our own government trying to get them strung out, trying to do all this stuff, trying to make a whole generation come back. That was the deep shame. I think even if they didn't participate in some of the torture and stuff like that, I think that the shame of not being able to stop it. Like, there was really horrific stuff that was done to people. And then I think there was a very much like when their soldiers got our soldiers, it was very tit for tat. Like, it was fucking horrible shit. Like, you watch those fucking movies, and I don't know, but it seems like that. I think of what movies, like the one that has that little scene where they're playing that Russian thing, and they make them do that. I don't know if that was called man, I can't make it out. Seems like it's one of them is the one that has, loves the smell of napalm in the morning. So that has Alan. There's all these different names. Alan. I always all the ones that it's not. No, it's. I always used to get him mixed up with man, I used to be able to oh, that's really itchy. I used to be able to remember at least be able to say a bunch of the movies the person was in. Robert Duvall. That's who it was. Oh yeah, because I used to think Robert Duvall or Robert De Niro. Robert Duvall, yeah. Oh my gosh. I need a cough drop or something. Hold on. That's so weird. Maybe it's just because my throat's raw feeling and talking is irritating or something. It feels like really weird. So anyways, and Robert Duvall's in it. It keeps seeming like it's called Apocalypse Now or something. I don't think that's what it would be called. But anyways, it had some really horrible stuff. And I don't know if that is one of the ones because where they would keep those guys in cages. Sometimes they would keep them, I think, underwater. Sometimes I think that they would keep them. There was a lot of bad stuff. Stuff with like rats and just horrible, horrible things that people, when given the opportunity, the horrible things that people will come up to do to one another when they think they have like carte blanche. They think there's a reason, an excuse. And that's what to me is being pushed. That's like how people are getting about the border stuff. And there's a lot of people too, like realizing like all the propaganda and stuff. But like we should be able to be free. And that these people are all going to be fucked, especially when our government crashes and stuff. And, I don't know who's all paying them money. It's not our government. Our government was not giving them money. Our government doesn't have any money. They've got all their hackers and shit out in our accounts doing all these scams and stuff. Like, how many scam emails do you get a day? I get so many. I get scammed constant. I'm sure I turned my phone ringer off. Just nonstop. There's just scam, scam, scam. That's the government stuff trying to get money back, trying to get money from us. And another thing too is for there to be all of those developers or flippers or whoever this is that keeps messaging me. Another thing I thought too is like, I wonder if they've got a whole bunch of them doing this because, that they, because most people will be like, okay, well, I'll just pay and get out of this. And, that because to go further, then they have to do evictions. Like, it becomes a whole thing. And so if it's kind of, I don't know, we'll just see how it goes. We'll just see how it all goes, because everything is so close to crashing anyways, like the bank things and just all of the stuff. We got people dropping right and left. And who knows what they're still going to do about Joe. And there's so many videos that they do making fun of him, and I don't even know if he says the stuff that they say he says. Some of the stuff's so absurd. It's like, what was something that they're saying he said that him and Jill have such a great sex life? Somebody has said, or that's what, was good for him or something. Him and Jill have such a great relationship, a great sex life. And somebody said, well, he's fucked the country or so. I don't know. Anyways, it was funny, whatever they had said. And, like, but did he even say that? Like, but he says so many weird things all the time. But that's what he's supposed to be doing, is being just like so over the top, so absurd, so ridiculous to, make people mad, or it's all about waking people up. It's getting people's attention. And so it gets people talking, but it's the reactions in people, the way people react, that's what gets me. And it's kind of mean, like I don't want to laugh at them. And then especially they're so serious. They'll get so serious, and they'll be like so mad at everybody else because everybody else is so stupid. It's like, oh my gosh. So, all this stuff has purpose. All these things happening all has purpose for the other part of the awakening. It's a part of people, so that they are putting themselves out there in a certain way, so that they have to see the side of themselves, because they wouldn't have any other way. Like, they go around acting like an asshole and they don't ever know it, but the universe is going to show them. And so it's all going the way it's supposed to go. Like, this is how it's supposed to play out. They're supposed to, do this shitty stuff, and then they're supposed to face this dark side of themselves and release it. So I imagine, the universe knows what it's doing, so it probably is the best way to purge out the most stuff. It's probably going to go the deepest. All this stuff goes the deepest, and it really is, like, it is painful when you are in resistance, when you're open to healing, when you're open to facing your trauma, when you're open to facing your own patterns. Because everything is your developed patterns from your toxic responses to the trauma that you ensued. So whatever you went through caused you to develop certain behaviors. And so then you develop patterns. And so this happens, that triggers this, and then you do this. And then, and you'll have it happen a lot, because the universe was trying to get you to see, to wake up and do something different. But we just stay, well, so far. I mean, we don't just stay, because we're changing. Everything's changing. But people were just reactive, and see that reactive, just going and doing that reaction and not ever stopping and thinking about what you're doing. Just that automatic response system that's lower chakra. And that right there shows you can heal that. You can heal your automatic responses. You don't have to stay in that way of being. You can heal that and move up. And then you start being more mindful. You start paying attention. You start thinking about what you're doing, thinking about your responses, thinking about what you're putting out. You know what? This was just weird. It really got me thinking too. Because like I said, I've got all these people talking to me all day long now. Just constant. It's so funny too, because they all ask the same questions. And when you say, well, I've done these videos and stuff, I talk about this all the time on my YouTube. But, on my YouTube, I also talk about a lot of spiritual stuff and awakening, how to heal. And so it's not just your body, it's mind, body, spirit. And so I tell the people, that they can come over here and listen or whatever. But um, the what was I gonna say? Because the people talking to them all day, then oh yeah, okay. So when they're always telling me like how old they are, when they turned gray, how old they're like. There's all these people. So I had done this video and said how old I was, and because some people don't want to ask. I think they think it's rude, but then when somebody says like how old they are, then it's kind of like, oh well, I'm so. But some people don't want to share their age, and I'm not sure why, because their age isn't even real. I mean, you tell by how the difference in how people age. Aging is artificial, anyways, but it's a whole thing. But aging is, as we were aging, we weren't all exactly the same. So, anyways, I said I was 62, and on this video, whatever I was doing on this video, talking about whatever. And so I said my age. And somebody came in and just said, "You look 62." And so I was like, okay. Is that supposed to be rude or something? I was like, well, I mean, it seems very strange. Like, to go, "You look 62." I was like, okay. Well, like, they're trying to be offensive or something. They're trying to be rude. And so I don't know if there was a bot channel or whatever. I went in to look and they had a bunch of videos. And then their person, their little face of them, it was like, look like you're like 90. Like, what? And I don't mean it like in any kind of good way. And I don't even know. Like, to me, is it bad to be looking 62? Like, because I don't think I look bad. If this is what 62 looks like, it's like, I don't think I look bad. So, I'm like, I feel fine. And, but it's like the way that they said it was rude. And, I mean, there's probably some people who are 62 who look 70. And there's probably some people who are 62 and they look like they're 50. Like, everybody's different. And besides, everybody sees different. Like, we don't all look at people the same way. So it doesn't really matter how somebody else looks at you. I always thought, what a strange thing to say to somebody, to just going, "You look 62." It's like, okay. And then, and then plus all my stuff, this is about reversing your aging. It's like a big fucking deal. I'm going backwards anyways. So, and look at, oh, I got these copper earrings too. And they're so delicate. I really like them. But I just put them on after I had gotten them. And they're handmade little tiny copper earrings. But anyways, I was thinking, I think it's making my hair turn more faster. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. I just feel like it's going to just, all of a sudden, you're not going to be able to see it. Because it's like fading. Or not, yeah, the white bait, it resaturates. And so, anyways, so I feel like I'm aged backwards, and we're backwards aging. And so, and then when you put that in your mind, you'll start doing it. You'll start going backwards. You'll start feeling bad, like it's a thing. So, I'm going to keep going backwards in aging. And so, I don't know. And then plus when we get in the med beds, we get to be like, even turn it back even more. So I don't know. I just think that's weird. Only thing is, if I see people who have like a lot of signs of aging, then to me, it just is like, just work on yourself, work on it. Like, it's so weird when you see all these people who are feeling so empowered. Like, they're stopping coloring their hair. They're empowering and letting their self just go gray. It's like, it's just weird, to be in the place where I'm at now and see, like, that it is surrendering to your health. Once you understand, I know these people don't understand, but I have mentioned it before to some people, and they're just like, people don't really know. But this is really creating a wave. Like, there is so many people talking to me about it all day and going and buying these cups, getting all the stuff. A whole bunch of people are starting. So, and once there starts being a bunch of people and everybody's drinking out of copper cups and everybody's losing their gray hair, and then the people who are left that have some, then they're going to start listening. Then they're going to start saying, what the hell are you guys doing? I'm over here trying to empower myself going old. It's like, yeah, but we don't have to go old. We just have to take care of ourselves. And going old is when you don't take care of yourself, you surrender. And that's what they're always banking on. And that's why they beat us down and beat us down. It's just like a constant assault on us all the time, so that you just, you give up. You're tired. It's too hard. They've got people who are so tired in their 20s. You've got so many people who just want to, give up and get out. And it's also another thing I noticed is it's bringing up a lot of judgment in people. Like, they want it to be somebody's fault. Somebody caused this. So that is like, if you notice that kind of thing, it seems like it's just like a shift. Like, things have to keep shifting. But definitely seems like people are looking for someone to blame, looking for something, But it's going to keep shifting. And it's going to keep shifting through that. That's kind of seems to be another side of themselves to see when things all start becoming more clear. Then they'll start seeing these different sides of themselves. And that's when the real healing starts, is when they start seeing themselves. And I just feel like we're close. We're close to something giving. It just is like, it feels so weird. Like, it's so fucking weird. Like, I've never felt so much like I was in a dream before. And just the way everything looks, just everything. It just seems like, man, it's just got to be so close. Just nothing seems real. like he's got to pull us back into the more of a real storyline again. It's like the being pulled out of the storyline, but then we're going to be back emerged into a new storyline. So it's like this disconnecting from one, but as you disconnect, it's so like there's nothing to hang on to. So it's like you can pull out here and you're just like floating out here in space, like, okay, where's our new reality? I'm pulling in. And so it is like you're kind of just out there floating around. But it is like a shift. It is like letting go of that, which when you let go of it and there's nothing else there but, an idea, then it's like, what do you have to hold on to? It's like, it's kind of just like free floating, even though we're free floating here in this cabin and contained small area, but, and lack of sleep. I could just completely have gone insane. Who knows? Maybe you guys have all just been listening to somebody who's insane. I don't think so, though, because I feel like there's a lot of confirmation of stuff I say. I feel like there's always confirmation. I don't think I'm insane, but definitely, what is sanity? Like, that's where I feel. What is sane? What is sanity? What's it all about? What are we doing here? I think that we're here to master ourselves, master this game. It's like a competitive player. And it's kind of weird too how like there is such a competitiveness in people that comes out. Like, there is like, I don't know, especially when it comes to red and blue. Like, I just heard somebody go on a rant about, it was just like, man, it's so divisive. And I just heard so, I'm better than you, I'm better than you, I'm better than you. Well, I mean, she came out and said that. I'm better than you, you'll never be as good as me. But, just hearing that kind of, that's an energy we're working through. And so when you see people who are just, spitting that out, then it's like, oh, okay, so they're the carriers. They're the carriers. They've gotta rid themselves of that. And it's so wild how they've just created so much division when at the same time we're working towards freedom. When if you want freedom, it's freedom for everybody. The people who are busting through the border are, moving us towards open borders for us all, not just for them. All the absurdity going on, like they just found a lunchbox of $1 million or something in the crane in a place like this. Just the most absurd, ridiculous stuff is going on. But it's something else with the what was the one with the money over here? Because something with well, whatever it is, all this stuff is just absurd. There's just one ridiculous thing after another. And it is all the ridiculousness, though, is what is supposed to get everything, being talked about or whatever. But it all leads into this shift. And the shift, though, that's where, it brings in the magic, really. And it's just weird, too, because people keep sharing, like, this video of David Wilcock. And he's talking about the solar flash, and it's deadly, and it's going to cook us, and all that stuff. It's energy. It's like energy that... this, what's happening, like, even on all these solar flashes these solar flares that are already happening, it brings in an energy. It's like a wind blows through, and it carries an energy. And when you are hit with that energy, it brings up things in you, makes you think about things. It'll hit you. And so that is an energetic storm. So that is this shift. So we have all this shifting that is going on, but it's all to prepare for the bigger one, because they keep building and building, more and more energy coming in. And that's why when I hear people saying that it's too much for them and stuff like that, you're blocking yourself from something. You're not healing something. It shouldn't be too much. If the energy it's because you're blocking something. You're not letting something, you're trying to not see something. So it's uncomfortable. You got to open yourself up to seeing what needs to be seen, and not trying to block it and hide from it and stuff. So just work on being more open. And the thing that makes people not be open, I think, is the facing yourself, the feeling bad about yourself. People already feel so bad about themselves. And then to add on top of it, to have to face the facts that you're really not that great. You're really just as much the bad guy as anybody else. And, that's hard. It's going to be really hard. It's going to be really hard for a lot of people. But that is where you got to just be a lot more. There's so many other levels to be able to look at it, to be able to look at life and be able to see things. And that's where you got to start moving through the levels. You got to start changing perspectives, looking at things bigger and broader, and not being so hypercritical, not being so down on yourself. You got to be more open than that, as that is counterproductive to growth. I mean, especially because this place is all about going into experience, so that you grow from all these experiences. So then how can you judge yourself from learning and growing from the experience? Because you should have known it sooner. You should have done it different. Then that's counterproductive. You got to be a lot more open and be like, oh man, look at what I just learned. And even sharing the stuff that you learn so others can benefit from the things that you've learned from what you went through. Because we can all help each other. And we can all, we can all, like I've talked about before, is we can all grow from really trying to understand different experiences. Like that is where, to me, there's such a lack of empathy with so many people. So many people are so judgmental. And it's not just judgmental and looking and seeing what's not working. It's judgmental on people. Like they just go so hard on people. Well, they're so stupid. They should do that. They're just really mean to each other. And I don't know. It's just I bet you it's kind of a protective thing too. And I just saw something where somebody was talking about, was it a weight gain? Where they said something about they had just gained weight or something. I don't remember what that whole thing said, but on the part where it said about gaining weight, then that is also a sign you're holding on to something. You're going through something. So if you're having weight gain through this process, then you're holding on to something, you're hiding from something, you're trying to protect yourself from something. And you gotta just face this stuff. And, and then question yourself, like, why is it so hard to face it? Why am I so worried to face these sides of myself? Like, because that right there is like you confirming to yourself that something's wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. You're just in a process of always learning. And this is a learning game. So you're going through things so that you can learn and grow. So why judge yourself when you're learning and growing and be like, well, I should have done it sooner? That's ego. That's the part of you that you need to have the conflict with the management. It's like you need to set them in a corner and tell them, their opinion is not the only opinion out there. Like your ego will try and protect you, but it's also kind of manipulative. And so, it doesn't want you to get hurt. So it will keep it. It kind of functions as a dark energy, really. So that is your darkness. That is what your dark and your light, like where you have to come into balance. Your love, I would just say, is your light. The love that you give, the love that you have in you, the love you feel for others. That is your love and your compassion, which, includes your empathy and stuff. But that is your light. That's your light side. And then the dark side, but everybody's got to find their own balance with the two opposing forces inside of you. But you have to have the awareness and see it. But you can't hide from your darkness. Like your darkness has purpose too. And so you don't want to hide from it or think it's bad or something, because then you're in judgment of yourself. You can't just be in judgment of yourself, because that again is counterproductive. How are you learning and growing if you're just sitting there judging yourself all the time and always feeling like you're not good enough? You're not good enough. You got to be at some point proud of yourself and recognize your accomplishments, the things that you are doing. And sometimes it takes somebody else to come in and say, and recognize you for what you're doing. And then that can also, help you to be able to see yourself. Because, yeah, it can be hard to be able to see yourself in all different ways, but this time period, what we're going through right now, this is that time, this seeing ourselves, One of the Mayans said the time of mirrors. But that is, as I just, that trips me out, is because I kept on saying that for so long, ever since I started talking about it. I kept saying all the way back years and years ago about how it was like the universe was going to put a big mirror up in front of you. All you're going to be able to do is see yourself. Everything that you do, you're just going to see yourself, see yourself. Whereas before, everything was everybody else's fault. But then all of a sudden, you're just going to see yourself, like having your foot in your mouth all the time and recognizing all these parts of yourself. It's going to be humbling. And that's what it's all about. Because when you're humbled, then you have a different attitude towards other people. You're not so judgmental and hateful towards others. You have more of a compassion, empathy, more of a, not seeing everybody as out to get you. That's another part of your own insecurities, when you think people are out to get you. And all these different things have got so much complexity, and it all has to do with your attitude and your perspective. It all has to do with you reeling it in and getting control of it. And it has such significance about your nutritional intake, because it is being so robbed. It is like we are being mined or plowed, being stripped of everything. And so and what is just so wild is that there's people who are starting and taking magnesium and healing their mental diagnoses, whatever it is, all sorts of different ones. So like these different things really have an effect. And then all their medications anyways are only going to make you have more problems. So it's way better to put the time and the effort into trying different supplements and things. But if somebody's in a crisis and they need something, you got to listen to yourself. You always got to listen to yourself. Don't ever listen to what somebody else is saying just because they sound like, well, they said I shouldn't do this. No, you listen to yourself. What does yourself say? If yourself saying you need that damn medicine, then go get the damn medicine. Don't listen to somebody else's say just because that's what they believe, that's what they think, that's where they're at in life. We're not all in the same place in life. So don't ever try and formulate what you need to do over what somebody else is being led to do. They're on their own path. Everybody's on their own path. And it can seem scary, to always be having to figure it out for yourself and stand by yourself. But it also is empowering. Once you get past the part of feeling flimsy and vulnerable, then you start moving into like, fuck, yeah, this is how I feel about it. And especially for most of us, we've all were shut down at some point in our life where we weren't able to just say what we really thought, for all different reasons. And so that is a big part of the awakening as well, and the healing into being able to start speaking your truth. That's why, like, it wasn't like people were up in their throat chakra and their lower chakra. No, they hadn't even moved out of the lower chakra and got up in their heart chakra, or up in their throat, or up in their crown. So there's a lot more further to go, and that is so that is a part of this, the part of the awakening and the empowerment, where people begin to speak their truth, stand up for themselves, say how they feel, stop hiding themselves. So that's a whole part of it too. So there's so many layers and so many different things, and it's all about one's growth. It's all about one's expansion into, becoming more. It's just like this growth. And it's weird. It's not because there's like an end where, well, I'm just going to grow into that. No, it's more of like continue blossom. The blossom continues. The blossom doesn't just open into the flower. The blossom just continues to blossom and blossom and blossom. It's like this movement. It just keeps going and going and going. And that is like what we are. That is this blossom that just is it's not going to stop. You're just going to keep expanding. You're going to keep in the blossom aspect of it is the beauty, this beautiful side of yourself that emerges, and you blossom, you come out, and you just keep coming. More and more of you is discovered all the time by you, by the others around you. That is where I think how they say more and more of our DNA comes on. It's more of a self-discovery, more of us all discovering ourselves and continuing to expand ourselves, expand in all different kinds of ways, because there's all different kinds of ways to expand. Just communication is something, but there's going to also be a lot of other like gifts and stuff like kinetic, the levitation. There's going to be stuff that being able to, it's all states of consciousness, and there's going to be all sorts of development, and more people, some people will be way more developed than other people, and then other people will work on trying to develop the parts of themselves that they want to develop. But that is, it's going to be this huge expansion, because it's not just about being more present in your life and taking it more in a healing kind of perspective or avenue way of going, your approach to life, rather than to create drama and go get drunk and talk about it and whine about life and stuff like that. Instead, it's going to be more productive and more in what is that, like thinking more deeper, more reflective, more going into deep thought. Like people are going to be a lot more sincere, a lot more like appreciative, a lot more connected. Like there's a lot of really positive parts of people that are going to come from this, but it all comes from the expansion of self and the healing that they do. That's what moves us and brings us into this new place. It's not just like a big jump, like how these super spirits or whatever like think that the universe is just doing. No, it's the people doing this work inside themselves is what moves us into this different way. I have got so many different food things going through my mind through this whole time of talking. I can't even tell you how many different food things I have. I must be really hungry. I think I'm hungry, but there's a part of me that's hungry, but then there's a part of me that's just like, we're fasting. We're just skipping it. We're just gonna, because there's kind of, I don't know, there's something with the energy. There's something about this, or not sleeping, not eating. And it doesn't feel like manic or something. Like I feel tired. Like when I finish this, because she has been snoozing, and so I'm gonna lay down. But I was like, maybe I'll sleep better if I've got this. Like I did this. I don't have it hanging over me, so I'm just go to sleep and not be thinking about it. Because sometimes I'll be, especially like lately, I'll be like, did I do it already? When like, because I'll be like asleep for a little while, and I'll wake up and I'll be like, oh my God, I don't know. I've been so confused over and days and time and everything. Everything just seems really weird. Like I think that when I go on to the questions and talking to people, that does make you feel more grounded. And then I really like being able to help people and giving people information for them to be able to help themselves. But when you are out there talking to a bunch of people, though, you do see that there is a lot of dependency. There's a lot of needing to break more free. And the dependency, comes from insecurity, too. People don't believe in themselves. So it can be kind of draining. Because you have so many people, well, tell me all about it. Well, how do I do this? Well, where do I get this? Well, how do I do that? Well, what if I do that? Like, there's so many. And it's just over and over and over and over. And so, anyways, I bet I like to be able to help people because, you know, it really is going to be a huge change. We start getting people to understand, I totally, there's so many parts to it because the whole thing of getting us to celebrate birthdays is absurd. To think that we are aging, like our age has anything to do with this cycle of the zodiac, has nothing to do with us, like of our age, like 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 the two don't go together. And so them to get us to associate with that and to then go into this, well, we're getting older. Oh my God. And then to give us parameters on years and give us like all of that was set. All of it was created. And then to go through the whole process of making us sick and poisonous. And then all of the things that our reactions, our body's reactions. And then to tell us that that's aging, that we're aging. But then you stop and look around nature. It's like, well, where's all the other old animals then? Why are we the only ones aging? It's like, that doesn't make much sense. Shouldn't that just be like a part of nature then? That everything, you know, gets old and stays old for fucking most of its life? Yeah. So anyways, that is, you know, another crime against the Jinn. So, but all the people, you know, they get real focused on the more obvious. So, like, there's a lot going on that isn't so obvious. And it's probably affecting you and probably affecting your health. So you probably want to pay attention to that. They can distract you with the big stuff. You got to get more. Like, even with that guy, you know, the martyr, it was like, I mean, fuck, was he MK Ultra? Like, I mean, for all we know, he could have been a goddamn robot. And it was a big show as a part. There's so much of the conversation of the things that they are wanting people. Don't forget the thing that they're pushing, the awakening part. You know, the like say the white hats, the white energy, the light energy that they're pushing is for you to question things morally. Your moral compass. This is about your moral compass awakening and creating that balance in self. Because then the balance goes out. You know, we'll create a more balanced world. But you have to be able to look at everything to find the balance. You have to be able to see everything. You have to be able to acknowledge, you know, all the things that have happened, what you've done, what's happened, and then move forward. I mean, that's the way I see it. So, anyways, I don't know. I'm just trying to think because it seemed like that there was, I mean, there's lots of wacky stuff with the sky videos. There's a lot of other things looking like faces up in the sky, too. Lots of other face-looking things up in the sky. Like, it just seems like all of a sudden is lightning going to be, and we've got all these faces looking at us. With all the watchers, they're just all, I don't know. It's nothing to be scared of. It's nothing to be scared of. The only thing I think out of supernatural stuff that you got to be scared of is the creatures that feed off of you. Like, those things are scary. Like, if you don't want to be hunted down by some sort of creature and eaten, then eaten alive or something. But, you know, like your soul doesn't go through all of the stuff that you think it goes through when it leaves. Like, they probably release you from your body before they eat you alive. I don't know. But they do want that energy. See, that's what it's all about. It's all this consumption of other energy, other people's energy. And there's so many people who they don't even realize that they even have anything that has value and what it is they're trying to take from them. I am so freaking dizzy right now. Like, that plane, like, there's been all these planes, and when they go, I swear to God, it starts feeling like everything is, like, shifting. Like, I feel like the ground is vibrating again. I keep having these weird sounds. Another thing that's really hard, too, is because the high-pitched frequency, how intense it's been. And that also, Makes you feel like, I don't even know. It's very disruptive. It's disruptive to my fucking brain. So, anyways, I don't know if I had more to say. To me, everything just keeps moving full speed ahead. And the important thing is the healing and the working on yourself and preparing for what is to come. And what is to come is this energetic, emotional shift in consciousness, this big flip around, this big, aha moment. And the aha moment is going to be such an abrupt kick in the pants for so many people, because so many people have put out, shitty kind of attitudes. And so many people, they are so unclear that they even have biases. They don't even know. So all that stuff, see, people, that stuff is hidden from people inside them. So all this is, the universe is bringing it to the table, bringing it up. Man, it's weird. It's like I go through these huge shifts all of a sudden of how I see things. And sometimes it's like I'm moving through it. And like I'm way far away from the 3D flesh and blood world, I'll tell you that. Far from that one. But it is weird. Sometimes I'll see some of the stuff and I'll see it on this level that is just like, fuck. And there's no way I know how to explain it. It always just takes me back to this gradation, this expansion, this, I don't know, everything is just like bleeding out its own color or something. I don't know, but it's like all this shifting, and it's all on these different levels, and this huge shifting in the universe, and all these people in their shift, and how it all goes together and stuff. Sometimes like you can see it, you can see this stuff, but this is all real. This is all real. This is all what it's all about. It's this big expansion, this big shift in consciousness. And I really think, I don't, where people are saying like it's going to be like this horrible thing and the world's going to burn up and all that stuff. I think that our weather is going to change. I think it's going to go back to being tropical. So I think there's going to be, and I don't know what all is going to go, we're going to have a whole bunch of fucking storm, all these landmass changes. Then all of a sudden one day, it's nice and we're in peace and stuff. But we're going to, all the storms and all of the pressure and chaos and everything is representative of what's going on with the people. That is that great, like it's micro, macro. And so all that stuff is going to keep going on because it's inside the people. It has to be purged out. And this is the way it purges out. This is the way it plays out. So it's got to be played out. So anyways, and there's going to be, all these people who, I don't know. I think that they're going to fight over the time traveler guy. He's saying that, I think in April, I think he said in April, March, April, May, somewhere right here. And all these people keep talking about this eclipse, the X and all that. Like people are really focused on that. And the time traveler guy said that there's going to be, what was I about to say? He said, because he said there was going to be, there's going to be a civil war that's going to happen because Texas is going to break free from the rest of the thing. Texas is going to become its own country or something. And that's going to start a civil war. And he said that's about to happen. So I don't know if that's true or whatever. That's just one of these time traveler guys is saying. And some of these things that time travelers say, then it seems like some of this stuff happens, but maybe not quite the way that they said or the intensity. Because like that one was saying, like that tornado, those different storms and stuff, that they would come, but it wouldn't be quite as bad. But I thought, well, it would make sense that that further down, that when they were looking back, they would see things would be different. Like when we look back on history, we're not getting the full thing. So somebody looking back on our history, like, I don't know. But he was right on when he said that when some of those storms were going to happen. So, I don't know. And I don't even know if it's the same time traveler. I think there's a bunch of them. So, a bunch of people out there saying they're time travelers. So, anyways, I don't know. But it does seem like that energy has to be purged out. It's like people have to realize you don't own the land. What gives you the right to say this part's yours and these people can't cross? Like this is, everybody should be free to roam. Like we should not be contained. We should be able to migrate freely. And for them to contain and control us is against our human rights. So, and that for that to be going on and say, no, keep the control. It's like, I don't think that's the energy we're heading for, but we'll see. But until then, remember to love yourself, love your neighbor, and have a loving day. Have a loving night, have a loving day, and I love you, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.